Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here, doing my reaction for Supernatural Gimme Shelter. I have no idea what the numbers are anymore. Like I'm way too off, and I was like, dang, I didn't Google the numbers. So it's that episode. Obviously, it's in the title at this point. I'm a week behind, so I'm probably gonna end up kind of doubling up on this one tonight and just watching both episodes. I probably won't do either review tonight, and I'm just gonna end up watching both episodes and just doing my reactions. And these will probably be out. Well, it's Sunday now. So I'll probably have them both out by tomorrow, most likely. If not Monday, then Tuesday, and then reviews will probably both end up being out tomorrow, Monday. So maybe who knows? All the videos might be out. There's gonna be something else at the end of this that you can check out. I can promise you that there will at least be one other supernatural video. It'll either be this review or it'll be the next live reaction. So either way, there's gonna be something you can check out after this if you guys are interested. I'm excited to do this. It's just been busy. Like even though oddly enough, this is my week off. You'd think I would have caught up before Sunday, but it's baby stuff. Things are just crazy. I'm trying to do like a trillion things at once, and I'm like, I really want to do these reactions, but I also got a million other things to do. But we're gonna get right into it, and I'm looking forward to this because I already saw like a little bit of the promo, so I'm actually kind of excited. Her right there, the girl on the left, she was in Defiance on Sci-Fi. Got canceled after like 4 seasons. Still hate them for that.
Where are you going, bro?
Still mad about Alphas too. Totally unrelated. I've always thought she was insanely gorgeous, by the way. I just want to randomly put that in there. I've always thought that from watching that show. Totally pointless to throw that in, but hey. Eventually somebody's gonna be like, you know what? That's just that's a random alley. This is dangerous. One of these days. I didn't expect that to happen. I honestly thought the bear was gonna leap out of his hands and like bite his face off. That should be pretty cool. Cass and Jack get like
I'll get my suit.
the main mission, and
Our
then
matching ties.
and Sam and Dean may or may not find Amara,
It was a good color on you.
which I assume they will, because otherwise, the rest of their episode could just be comedy,
Found it.
and they just gamble.
Which one did I talk to on the phone?
Agent Lovato, FBI.
On the field Lovato? With, them Baby Yoda.
Wait, are there angels solving people crimes now? Or like Highway to Heaven, but with murder or something? Because
Switched
I would
up really
watch
fast.
That show.
Is Highway to Heaven a real show, by the way? I've never heard of that before.
It's got nothing to do.
Okay. Alright, so far. Interesting episode. If it's human based, I mean, obviously there is some supernatural element, unless they randomly explain, like, the dude was going insane with the bear thing. I'm pretty sure it's actually a human doing something supernatural. Oddly intense with the whole cut off every finger, and, the demon's like, it wasn't one of us. So that definitely makes it a little weird. It's something supernatural, but it's nothing that any of the demons are really involved in. And I would assume if it's not demons, then he would have at least known, like, yeah, it's some supernatural being. Like, they would probably have a bit of a clue as to what that is. So it could end up still being a supernatural being. I would assume it's just a human doing some weird supernatural stuff, and somehow they're finding out about sinners. I'm gonna also instantaneously assume it's the one random person that's shown up in this episode that I've seen in another show as a lead character. So I'm gonna assume it's the woman. I don't know her name, but the gorgeous girl. So I just assume it's gonna be her, and if it's not her, then it would either have to be her friend or the dude where the leader, the guy that helped Connor out before he got murdered. So it's got to be one of them. I would just assume it's the only woman that I know. So I'm gonna assume it's her, and that's really it, because there's literally nothing else to go on. She's doing the whole murderous Teddy Ruxpin thing. So that's interesting. And they mentioned that there were 2 at the last scene. So they found one, and then there was one behind a fake rock. So I don't know if that's the whole thing where it's like that's the magic element of it. So that's a little confusing. I'm curious to see how that ends up playing out. Playing into the rest of that case. But so far, it's interesting, and I'm very excited to see Sam and Dean's half of this episode, because I definitely want to see Amara come back.
At least this time it's not you and me.
It'll be interesting if somehow
Thank you.
Amara could give up her
That
power.
was a moving testimony.
I don't see how that
We all feel
could really work, but that'd be
hardships
interesting.
in our heart.
Hello. Where can I find the Kool-Aid?
What?
I'm sorry. I want to join. To help.
That was a really good reference. And also, just him always saying hello like that,
Fill this up.
it's just always funny to me. But that was a good reference. Wow. That finger thing reminds me of Resident Evil 7. They had a DLC. One of the, like, the son in the family was, like, an insane dude. He was the one who made all the traps. And one of the DLC was you would play blackjack against someone else, and you would have your fingers in a trap. And if you lost that round, it would slice your fingers off. Oh, man. Wow. I don't know what it is about, like, the little finger guillotine things that always gets me more than anything else, where it's just, it's methodical. I've never in my life noticed that they did not have a gas tank on the side of that
4
car.
hours for all you can eat. I have a process.
I did not pay attention sometimes. Not that I would be looking at the gas tank, but that just blew my mind. Like,
Lane closures, I say.
they had to have done that before. Okay. I knew this was going to be a good episode. Double-sided conflict. They have to, you know, the angel and the, I was going to say demigod. We'll count it as that. The angel and the Nephilim, they have to go through their own little thing with the faith-based community. And then Sam and Dean are going to screw something up with tomorrow. That's just how it goes. So I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. There's not much else to say there. But I cannot believe, that whole time, it was just like, I've never even once thought of it. I don't look at cars in show, even if it's like, you know, one of my favorite cars. I got like this little model here. Not that I've ever opened this little thing, but, you know, that's funny. I've never even thought of that before. Never even thought of that. It's interesting. So I know I can't put in like that whole speech he just did, so I'm gonna just toss it here. That was a great speech by Cass.
And when we split apart, all this was created.
The Big Bang.
They just love throwing in some new lore. Surprise! That place looks gross. And he's dead, that sucks. But that place looks nasty.
He's been dead a long time.
So it's gotta be the daughter then. Otherwise it's gonna be like you know, they're gonna flip the script and it's just like, nope, it was her friend the whole time. I really feel like it's her. Like, she's doing it, but she's like
This is so crazy.
freaking out that she's doing it. She's that type of person. The killer with regret.
I really...
See?
You never did.
It's the crazy pretty ones. I'm loving this episode. So 2 great speeches. I really enjoyed that. This is just going to be interesting. We got, what, 3 episodes? Technically 2, since I'm like 2 weeks behind now. So I don't really know what to expect, because something's going to go wrong. Like that, it has to go wrong. It's always, we got something good, and then we don't. Something has to inevitably go wrong. Whether Chuck's writing this story so that he can be a great writer, or it's just their actual lives. Things just don't work for them 100% of the time. It's whenever that big play is happening, and you know, that's just right, that's good writing. You know, it's like, oh, we got something, we're going a good step, but something is going to backfire, and then who knows what that means. So I'm excited. I like the new lore. You know, they were actually created or they came, whatever. It was at the same time, and then they split, or in a sense split, and then boom, we have the Big Bang. So I like that idea. You know, a little bit of extra lore to just toss in there, like, nah, I'm literally just as important as him. He was just a dick about it, and he threw me in the cage. So that's a nice little piece of lore. I like that. Of course, we now know exactly who the killer is. It'll be interesting to see exactly why, but I assume it has something to do with her mother passing and then her dad not being like the greatest dad ever. So, I just thought about the lust thing. Maybe something was there with that. I don't know, but we'll see. I like this episode. This is really good. This is definitely what I was hoping the episode would be. Where I was like, you know, we came back and it was like, oh, you know, cool. You know, they got their fairy godmother coming in and everything's funny and nice. I was like, but I really do hope we're getting to some big stuff this episode, and we certainly have. So I like the episode a lot so far. Well, this should be interesting. I was just about to say, like, he can heal her fingers, right? I always forget what he can and can't do, which is ridiculous. I'm watching the show for, like, feel like most of my freaking life, and I'm like, can he heal people? Can he do that? I always forget when he's like a little too weak. Like I always cycle through like a million storylines. I'm like, is he weak right now? Is he able to do that? Can he fly yet? Can he not fly? Where are his wings? I always forget.
With special effects, there's
So I'm throwing this in at random. You heard the Wilhelm scream. This is the vaping commercial. I don't know if you guys have seen it, where it's like, we made a CG monster, to signify vaping. Why did they put the Wilhelm scream in there, which is in like every movie ever? I was like, why did they put that stock screaming sound effect? I thought that was the dumbest idea. It's like, vaping is so serious, but we're gonna use this really, really, really stock sound effect that is always used as a joke, and they were serious, and that was dumb, but also really funny. Just had to throw that one in there.
I won't survive.
Oh man. Alright, so alright, I got some theories rolling in my head now. But I'll talk about it when they're finished.
Oh yeah, why not?
Okay. Alright, that was a really good episode. Then they just hit you at the end like, surprise, he's gonna die. So, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think what's gonna happen is, we're gonna have Jack about to sacrifice himself. Cass is gonna figure something out, and they're gonna call back to, I literally always forget, but the Empty being like, oh, you saved your son, you guys, somehow they're gonna defeat them both, and he's gonna save Jack, and it's gonna be like, oh, good job, and he's gonna come in and be like, you're happy, I gotta get you. I feel like that's what's gonna happen at the end. That is the theory that I have with the going into like the end of this series. They're gonna end up saving Jack, but Cass is gonna be the one that gets in a sense, killed at the end. Oh man, that's crazy. I wasn't expecting that. I just assumed, he'll just be powerful and then everything will be fine. No big deal. He's gonna be powerful. He'll take down God. He'll take down Amara. It does make more sense now, because I was curious. I was like, how is he gonna do that as like a directed attack? But it makes sense that it would be him sacrificing himself as a bomb, because then it's just like, okay, you hit a trigger and then boom, that's it. There is no like, I have to focus and do this specific thing and then do this thing against, characters who can basically just do this, and then it's like, all right, well, I'm out of here. I just instantaneously made a new universe and I just jumped over to that one, and now you can't get me. So I was curious how that was going to work out, because I'm like, they have to have, despite the power, they still have to have a plan where he could utilize said power on two different almighty characters, and now it makes sense. Just have them in the same area, and then he just blows up and they're all dead. So that makes a ton of sense now, because I was curious how that was supposed to work. But that is interesting. That is interesting. I love the episode, for sure. So I'm definitely excited to get into this next one, even though my thing won't go full screen. It's being dumb right now. But that's okay. So I'm in this one here. I would love to know your thoughts on this episode. The Amara side, the Cass Jack side of things, and them kind of going through their internal stuff and bonding and things like that. I would love to know your predictions on the Crossroad Demon at the end, because I assume that she never made that deal. So he, for whatever reason, he ended up popping up doing his own thing, or that was the dad making a deal with the devil, because he was like, she won't be alone. So maybe that's what that was, where he made some sort of deal to be like, I'll do what I need to do. Please look after my daughter. That would seem weird that would happen, out of nowhere, because he would have had to have literally gone and done that and then come back. And I doubt that happened. So I don't think that's really connected to him saying that. They just showed it like, but I don't know. It's weird because he was like, she won't be alone, and then they showed the demon. So I was like, so did he make a deal? But then the time frame of that would be completely illogical unless he'd done that beforehand. But they would have just been throwing that in, that he actually knew about supernatural stuff to begin with. So it wouldn't make any sense that would be the case. I think he was talking about himself, and then they're like, check it out, this is what's going to be happening. So what I was going to say there was, if this weren't the final season, I'd be like, oh, they're going to bring her back next year, but obviously that's not going to be the case. So I'm curious how that's going to play out, because it has to mean something. And like a bunch of things were going through my head, and I was like, they've used human souls a lot in this show. That's always like a giant powerful thing. And it wouldn't shock me if somebody was like, oh, Rowena's doing her thing, let me go rogue for a bit, I'm super bored, let me just check something out for a second. So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that, because I was just like, just threw that in there, and then it's just like, that's the end of the episode. So I don't know what to expect from that one. I would love to know your predictions on that, predictions on the Jack thing and Cass, Sam, I'm still just waiting. Like, I don't really know who's gonna live and who's gonna die. But we'd love to know your predictions, what you guys thought about this episode as a whole. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. Random shameless plug. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Invisiblekatana. I'm here with Snorlax. You can barely see him. You can only see like the bottom, but that's Snorlax up there. And it's close to Halloween, so we're going to be doing a lot of horror games. So definitely check it out if you're interested, but I'd love to know your thoughts on this episode. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.